People know, like, a couple of weeks ago that Black Clover's art was really fucking rough. It was in the middle of, like, the latest arc that they had, where, like, one of the chapters, it just decided to, like, have some very unfinished panels, and this chapter is exactly no exception as well. However, I felt like there was a lot more multiple, like, parts and all that was really unfinished in this chapter. Like, we got to see multiple parts and all that, where we got to see, like, Vanessa encountering, like, a lady as well, where it was just, like, it was really rough and all that. It was still, like, presentable in a way. It's just that you could clearly see that it wasn't like finished, and it was like just a very rough version of it. Like you still see the outlines and shit like that. The same thing, like this was like even when it was going for like backstory as well, this was kind of annoying when you're trying to have like a backstory on a character and it's like really just rough, like fucking scribbly writing, and you have like same thing with like Yami as well when he's trying to say something. This is just kind of how it is and all that, because then at the end of the day, you know, when you're reading the manga and stuff like that weekly and you're looking, you know, at the artistically as well, it's really fucking distracting, I'm not gonna lie. So if anything, I don't know if any of the other manga are like this, or if they're shorter chapters this week, since I remember last time they had to rush themselves for this, or the fact that this was just because Yuki Tabata just fell behind on time and he fucked up, so that might be something on there, but we'll have to wait and see. But honestly, I haven't seen like kind of like this kind of stuff and all that since like Blue Exorcist, when it does it sometimes, when it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna have like the art just kind of missing for the most part in the chapters. So yeah, I want to address that. I'm not happy with it, especially the second time in a row, and from what I've seen of like a couple of the other manga this week, doesn't seem like the other manga had a problem. I think this might be something just with Tabata, that he just ran out on time or something, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Now it's time to talk about the chapter itself as well, 104, and, well, the Blue Rose, captain, we finally found out a little bit more about her, a little bit of the backstory, which I'm kind of actually happy we finally got. So we saw her, like, lieutenant as well, I believe her name was, Maron, from what we saw her there, and the fact is that, like, her whole thing is like, oh, yeah, look at this, like, you know, dress I found for you, like, ma'am, and all that, like, it looks gonna look great on you. She's like, stop it, Soul, like, I don't want this shit, and then it's like, oh, look how pretty she is, and then they get really pissed off, say, oh, you can't show, like, obviously being a, like, female bunch of knights, like, from what they're saying, is like, only Blue Rose members are able to admire our boss's beauty, like, they're cracking the knucks, getting around, it's like, oh, Jesus, what the fuck just happened? And the fact that we had this little confrontation before, and it's a little bit between her and Yami, and, like, when they literally, even Yami is fucking going there, hey, it's the Sun Queen of Thorns, and I'm like, you, Yami, got it to the fucking T, and I'm not gonna lie, when he's laughing, and he's like, yo, what the fuck is up with that dress, bitch? And then they look at Yami, and he's like, what the fuck is that? Like, what's that loincloth shit around your waist and all that? Like, what the fuck are you even doing, Yami? And the fact is that we got this weird little pairing thing of, like, Vanessa as well. Like, this is now something where it's like, this is what the chapter was saying, oh yeah, I can't lose to this woman or like, I'm gonna challenge the captain. So if you think of that, yes, technically one of the black, like, bulls and all that did challenge the fucking, the captain of, like, the Blue Roses, but it was a drinking contest. Like I said, it's the same thing as, like, last time, although this one had more context than the other. We actually got a little bit of the backstory to this character. A lot of it still was, like, it felt like filler fluff, like, for the first half for the most part, but the second half, it was a lot more enjoyable from what we got to see, as we was actually finding out more about her backstory, had some little hilarious moments when they were getting drunk as well, where she's, like, drinking it, and she's like, I keep working with, I love you. Like, she's just going there, like, you just completely made the fucking bitch just completely pissed out like that, and she's like, she has one drink, and she's immediately drunk, and, like, the whole thing, what we found all that, like, with the backstory with her, is that some, like, bitch and all that put, like, a curse on, like, her family, and when she turns 18, the curse will swallow you and all, like, they're trapped in a cage of time, and, like, she was like, oh, no, don't worry and all that, I'll become stronger than anyone else, I'm gonna win over this curse, and you see that throughout all of this and all that, as she, like, becomes a Rose member and all that, like, she completely, like, gets stronger, she fights through it, and then from what it seems like, saying, I need to, succeed with my own strength, the curse seems to like take over like the house, and it's like attacking everyone, and she's like losing to it, and it's like, I can't stop the, you know, whole city's gonna fall and all that, I need to do something. And it wasn't until like Yami getting involved thing like, you know, come on bitch, and all that, you know, like, you gotta do this. And the fact that he's like, I like strong women, you know, and all that, but there's nothing wrong in like, you know, relying on others sometimes, and like, there's people you can trust, you know, among us magic knights. How about you fucking do that? And the fact that she's like, oh, this fucking piece of shit to steal my heart and all that, this was the method and all that to spell the curse. It's just like, a barbarian like that is irritating, and it's just like, that's really and all that, like, kind of like, alright, at least we got context. I kind of like Yami, like, for all this, because he's pretty much a fucking fan favorite at this point. He's like, even when she's like, oh, I've got to try and finish off all the liquor, even though she's already pissed, and it's just like, hey, look, you can't handle the liquor, can you? Don't worry and all that, like, you remember what I said last time? Like, so they're really trying to put the pairing on there. Though, weird that they were trying to do that shit with, like, Vanessa as well, but overall and all that, like, the chapter had a little bit more going on for it, and the fact is that we're now going to see, like, an award ceremony going on, so I'm kind of curious to see what that, and since, like, you know, there's going to be new captains of the Crimson Lions and the Purple Orcas, so we need to know who's taken up the mantle since, like, you know, Thugullion, I believe his name is. Like, we had, like, I take it that means, like, he stepped down as captain, and also as well that Mayuri motherfucker as well. So I'm curious to see, like, who's going to be up there. It'll be kind of nice and all that if we get to see Leo, or like, he's the one that took up the mantle or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see, as, like, next week and all that is going to be, not only is Clover going to be having the front cover and a color page, it's also going to have a popularity as well. So I'm really curious to see what exactly people in Japan as well think of their favorite characters. I can highly imagine that Yuno is going to be in that fucking list, because everyone loves Yuno from what it sounds like. But other than that, like, same thing as I said with, like, the past 3 chapters, and that's kind of annoying that we've had 3 chapters, kind of this stuff and all that. It's kind of still like, it's been slightly thinner, but then again, there's been like 1 or 2 moments that's been like, oh, this is actually stuff, and this one had more content into it, I would say, because we actually got a backstory to a character finally. But like, then again, like, I kind of want this to hurry up, and I feel like this honestly feels like, you know, Tabata is like preparing an arc. Like, this is what I honestly feel like, and it's just like, he's using this as time as well. But honestly, the fact as well, like, you know, the fact, like, from what I've seen anyway, I've seen a majority of, like, the chapters and all that in the Raws, and, like, in the even as well, the translated versions, and it doesn't seem like anyone else had this problem. It seems like Tabata just felt, well, lack on time and all that, or something fucking happened, so we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, I hope this isn't a consistent thing and all that with Tabata, but like, I do know he's obviously going to clean that up when it comes out in the volume. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What did you think about that? But that's all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.